access map. So very detailed, very precise, how do you actually make use of the tools for your different types of projects. Then we will have lunch, and after lunch we will have a set of exercises on the ITC tools trade map and market access map, so exercises that are again in the booklet. We will be circulating, answering questions, helping you to complete the exercises. Really, the idea is that everyone is fully able to make the exercises. So if you have questions, of course, you just ask us. After this, we will go into the standards map tool perspective. So this afternoon, we have to go through the whole tools, trade map, market access map, and also standards map. So this is really going to be the planning for today. Then tomorrow, we will have some group discussions. How is the training going? Have we made good progress on the exercises? Can we finish the exercises? And that is very important to reach almost the end of the exercises by tomorrow morning. So at the end of the morning, we have done that. Then we will have a very interesting afternoon because the group will be split into two groups. Okay? One group will be in charge of developing a training course for SMEs. So you can use, and we will give you USB with the whole material in electronic format. So you can use the PowerPoints. Part of them, the whole PowerPoint, you can invent your own slides, but we would like you to start developing the course with our support for SMEs. And you will be in charge the following days to actually give the course in front of us. So with Regina and I, we will be coaching you. That means that on Thursday and Friday, depending on which group you are, you will be here presenting to companies. And the companies will come in this room and you will be giving the course. Regina and I, we are there to help and to see how the course goes. So you practice being really a trainer of SMEs. The SMEs will have different backgrounds as well. And your task, your mission will be one day workshop on the tools. So they do not need to be experts on the ITC tools, but they need to understand how to use them. The course can be in Vietnamese, that's no problem. We have interpreters, and we will be there to support as much as possible. Okay, so two groups, one group for Thursday and one group for Friday. So depending on your availability and your preference for doing the course on Thursday or Friday, we will set up the group a little bit later. Okay? So just to recap in summary, today and tomorrow, it is just all of us learning the tools, making exercises, and then tomorrow preparing your course. And then on Thursday and on Friday, two groups for trainings of SMEs. Is that all clear for everyone? Yeah? Fantastic. Questions? No questions. Hopefully then I was clear. Okay, a few words about ITC. So ITC, it's a little bit of a different organization. ITC is part of the United Nations. We are based in Switzerland, in Geneva. We are one of the smallest agencies of the UN. So United Nations, thousands of people, you know it about peaceful keeping forces, etc. Well, we also work on economics and on international development. This is ITC, International Trade Center. And we work under two major organizations. So the UNCTAD on one hand, so the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, and then the WTO, so really the forum where all the negotiations take place for multilateral trade agreements. ITC, we sit in between with a very specific mandate. So when UNCTAD is really helping policymakers design trade strategies and trade regulations, and WTO is the forum for the negotiations, well, ITC has a very clear focus on the private sector. So we are there to help the private sector develop and developing through trade. So the mission is really to find with the partners, with the trainers like you, in the different countries, different means to help the companies export successfully and actually bring revenue, create jobs, and have some positive impact in the different countries. That's the mission of ITC. And we have been established like 50 years ago, so it's kind of a long history behind ITC. This might be a little bit small for you to read in the back, but you have all of that in your booklet, right? What is ITC? Well, we first have a clear focus on the private sector, SMEs, and the policymakers, and then we have a number of focus areas. The focus areas are how do we design programs, how do we help the companies in the context of international trade. So we have market intelligence, SME competitiveness, we have different types of programs to strengthen the trade promotion organizations, so the chambers of commerce, the different trade support institutions, and so on. And we have a number of programs focusing on women in trade, or ethical fashion, trade and environment, empowering young workers and training them. So there are different types of focuses where ITC works. The way ITC develops the programs is also driven by the donors. So in this case, SECO, the Swiss Secretariat for Economic Affairs in Switzerland, they help ITC design programs that focus primarily, in our case, on sustainability. Sustainability from the point of view of economic development, social rights, work and labor rights, environment, and equality. Then we have the different types of solutions that we do implement, so programs and trainings, research, support to different types of policymakers, and at the end of the day, the way we report to the United Nations is about different types of indicators. Trade impact for good is really the mission of ITC, making sure trade impacts for good, that at the end the benefits are positive for the companies and for the people in the countries. Mrs. Rancha Gonzalez is the Executive Director of ITC. There are different types of media channels and communications where you can follow the latest news, job vacancies, and also have an idea about the Twitter accounts and the different information that the Rancha Gonzalez shares about ITC. And now, I'm just going to start quickly to present you the ITC market analysis tools. And I'm just going to switch, and rather than actually going in details of this presentation, I'm just going to show you a short video. So, let me
For small and medium-sized enterprises in developing countries, getting information about potential new export markets can be expensive and time-consuming. Before investing resources on market research, export managers need to know which market offers the best export opportunities for their products, the latest demand trends for their products in the global market, and related market entry barriers. ITC offers a set of free online databases and analytical tools that can take some of the guesswork out of choosing export markets. ITC market analysis tools enable you to research trade opportunities for over 5,300 products in around 200 countries and territories. You can compare the size, growth, and market competition, and even get an idea on prices and trends. Once you've chosen a market, investigating market regulations and requirements also becomes easier with ITC tools. You can self-assess voluntary sustainability standards for your business. With your market identified and researched, ITC tools help you move into action with contact details and company information on over 550,000 importers, distributors, producers, and suppliers in over 60 countries. To help you understand and use ITC tools and other trade information most effectively, ITC has free e-learning content and can also run webinars or deliver face-to-face training workshops on request. feedback from users indicated that using ITC tools has helped them export by around 100 million US dollars per year. These additional exports have had substantial impact, contributing to job creation, poverty reduction, and sustainable development around the world. ITC tools and capacity building programs are delivered with the collaboration and support of donors to ITC Trust Fund, Aid for Trade Donors, and other international organizations. Start using ITC tools today. Register for your free password and learn more about how ITC helps deliver trade impact for good.
Okay, so back to presentation. So three major tools that we will go through with you during this training: the trade map, market access map, and standards map. If you go actually to the website market analysis of ITC, there are other indicators and tools that you may want to learn from, related directly to investment or competitiveness of enterprises. Those tools are relying heavily on the databases that are behind trade map, map, and standards map. So by learning about the three major tools, you will be actually proficient on almost everything from ITC. So investment map tool is dedicating on FDI, so flows of investment inward, outwards, and can actually also be accessed from that portal. The standards map is really this portal and database around sustainability standards, so certifications. When you export catfish, pangasius, tilapia, coffee, cocoa, other products, mangoes from Vietnam, the question is how can those standards be useful to position the market, to position the product in the market. Procurement map, another tool that was launched just recently as well for public procurement. So public procurement, when the governments make tenders and want to purchase large products, large amounts of products, well, how can you actually identify those public tenders? That is the tool that was launched not so long ago. Market access map, market access. So really the tariffs, the quotas, the non-tariff measures, basically everything from a regulatory point of view that you need to understand in order to export a certain product. And the trade map, which is the core of the application. So market analysis, this website, intracenter.org/market analysis, is really the entry gate through which you access the tools. All the tools are hyperlinked. The access is free of charge globally, and you can really switch from one tool to another with the same user account. So there is no need for separate accounts. Case studies, ITC publishes a lot of case studies, so I recommend as well that from the menu, the tutorials, and the resources section, you actually also check what kind of information could be provided in the tools. Capacity building and research, this is where actually today we are organizing the training, and we do that primarily with support from different donors. Companies using the tool, it's huge. I mean, we have all in all about more than 500,000 users that are accessing the tools like very regularly, that have the user account. And among the 500,000 users, we have large multinational companies ranging from McDonald's to Coca-Cola, Unilever, DHL, and others that are using the tools from a business opportunities perspective, from a strategy for diversification of their suppliers and different types of business partners. And so all of these are creating a good community of users. How do we actually put things into practice? Well, trade map is interesting for many reasons, and we will have time to go into the details, but one thing that trade map offers is to monitor the global trends. So remember, when we do an analysis of trade and markets, we always try to start from an overall perspective. What is happening in the world? What is the demand for a certain product and the offer? Is Vietnam among the top of the offer part that offer the product or not? Who are the competitors? And so very rapidly, in just a few clicks, you will learn if you don't know yet, but you can actually generate graphics that show which are the major buyers, the major sellers of certain products, and see some trends about the growth. Like, is the market growing or is it reducing? Are the prices going up or going down? And the level of competition in the markets. So this is very easy from a trade map perspective to offer you a global trend of certain sectors. And then we can have it at the national level, the same type of information, and also having it not on a yearly basis, but more regularly basis, like on a quarterly basis. Some countries even provide information to ITC on a monthly basis, which means a very precise level of detail for different countries. Graphics here, I mean, it's again a little bit small for you during the tag, and we will practice on those. This is how we can actually look at product diversification issues. So how do you see which are the products that are gaining some strengthening their positioning in markets or that are actually losing out? So try to identify from a sector perspective which are the winners and which are the products or the sectors that have more difficulties. Market diversification, the same thing, but we take it from a country perspective. So which are the countries that are actually taking more presence on the markets? Which are the countries that are exporting more and more of certain products? Very important issue as well, and I think when we came to Vietnam last time, presenting trade map, we didn't have yet that amount of information about companies. Now we have 550,000 companies in trade map. So you can make a search by company. You say Vietnam exports tilapia or coffee to a certain country. Which are the buyers? Get the list. Get the list of the companies. So those companies, those SMEs that you will be training, they can access company data. So the name of the company, the contact details, and they can try to start making business. We do not cover all countries, and we only have 500,000 companies in the database. It's a lot, but it is not like comprehensive. So we need to explain to you which countries have the data and which countries have not the data. Okay. Market access map, well, very relevant tool as well when you start to develop a market strategy. So an export, when the company is exporting products, the question is, okay, how much does it cost me to export to that country and to enter the market? You have to pay tax. You have to pay taxes, you have to comply with the regulation, and you have to demonstrate kind of different certificates. My market access map will show you which are the countries that have the easiest procedures to export or actually to enter your product in those markets, and what countries are the more complicated. Okay? So the market access map will show you what are the regulations and give you access to these taxes very easy. You can compare based on different products and different sectors and review the regulations directly from the tool. And then we have the question about standards. And the standards that are affecting trade are of two kinds. Usually we put them into those two categories. You have the standards that are mandatory standards, like quality and food safety. Okay, if you export food products, well, it is mandatory that the food is safe, that the people don't get sick when they eat, right? This is very obvious, and most of the time, the mandatory schemes are taken care of by the government. So the government decides, okay, my food safety, like there are some residues of pesticides, or there are some elements that the food should or should not contain. This is mandatory by law. Okay, this is the first category. And then you have the voluntary standards that are usually standards that are not obliged by the law, but as a company you better comply with it, because otherwise you will not be able to sell to the private sector. Giving you an example. Nestle buys all sorts of agricultural food products. Yeah. Of course, that if they buy the product and the company, the SME, is legally established, that means they meet with the mandatory scheme. But Nestle will put the bar a little bit higher. They will ask for higher quality standards. They will ask for additional certificates. We put this voluntary because it is not by law. But if you want to sell to Nestle, it is voluntary. Okay, so this is really the difference. It's governmental type standards versus private sector or NGO. And this is how we can review the different standards. And so when you combine the market access of the regulations with the voluntary standards, then you start being able to review the different schemes that exist. And for a company that wants to export, you understand what are the options. You may have different standards. I mean, Rainforest Alliance or Global Gap, quality assurance, those are schemes that the company could actually comply with. You can say, I'm going to call the auditors and have a certificate for Rainforest Alliance. Will that be useful or helpful? Well, not always. And this is why you have the tools of the ITC to help you understand the differences and what could actually be helpful. So this is why we have the standards map. And the standards map is really a tool that is composed of 4 modules. So you have identification of the standards, like which standards apply to Vietnamese exports or certain sectors. Then you have a quick scan. What are the characteristics? How much does it cost to become certified? The comparison module, so you can compare the standards. 4C Association and UTZ Certified. Both are very present in Vietnam, in coffee. What is the difference? How much does it cost? Well, for a cooperative, it is very important to understand. And then there is an assessment module, and again, the assessment was not yet here on the tool when we came last time. Assess is basically you turn the standards map into a questionnaire. You answer the questions, and you have a diagnostic report that tells you as a cooperative, as an SME, how complicated it will be to become certified. Okay? And you will practice on that as well today and tomorrow. So that was the example about the identify, compare, and the assessment questionnaire that leads you to a certain level of diagnostic. So ITC, as mentioned in the video, has also all sorts of training tutorials and e-learning. So today and tomorrow we have this book, and Regina and I, at your disposal to help you train. But in the future, we can still be in contact. We can also go to the e-learning platform of ITC and learn about the tools directly. So this is the generic email address. We can also give you our personal email for ITC, so we can be in touch. Do you have questions on this short introduction about the ITC and the tools? Or was that more? Yeah? No more questions? Very good. Okay. Well, I can come. So, we will have coffee soon. I just want to grab your attention a little bit more in terms of setting the scene on how we are using the tools and why the SMEs can actually benefit from using the ITC tools and the databases. So basically, what you would like to help an SME and an exporter is really to understand how to answer some of these questions. So, what are the major trends in your industry? In a certain sector, globally in the world, but then also vis-a-vis Vietnam or Myanmar specific situation. What are the major trends? How do you find the right contacts to make a business case and to start exporting successfully? How do you promote your products? What are the requirements for the market? Because if you say, well, let's export to China, yes, but how do you do that? What are the different types of requirements, manufacturing and voluntary, that you may actually consider? Which are the markets that are mostly attractive? So if you say, well, exporting this product from Vietnam offers probably 3 or 4 options. 3 or 4 markets are very dynamic. Which one to choose? And where do you actually focus? These are very important questions. So what's going on in the world markets? Those are the typical answers that you will be able to find in the tool. So the main importers, the main buyers, the potential buyers of your products. The main exporters, your competitors. Who are your competitors? Well, you'll be able to identify them. What is the trade performance of your country in the world market? The performance, that means what? That means how do you compare yourself in Vietnam vis-a-vis Thailand or vis-a-vis Cambodia? Okay, if you take a certain sector like garment, how are you positioned vis-a-vis the others? Who the fastest growing markets in the world market? Okay, so the demand is growing in certain areas and the demand is going down in other sectors. So how do you identify where to go? And this is really like when you have a car and you need the map. How do you use the map to actually go in a certain direction? This is what we try to offer. The markets that seem the most attractive, and here you will learn from Regina and myself, it is not always very obvious. You may think, okay, the market is attractive because it shows a very high growth rate, but actually it is not very attractive for other reasons. So it is more than just press the button and have an easy answer. You need to see some methodological approach on how to identify the most attractive markets. And then, how is your country performing? That means interesting to know, for instance, that the market in Ghana is growing very much for a product. Well, is it really where you want to export? You know, it's not because it is growing up that necessarily your country, Vietnamese exports are performing very well in that. So we need to identify the market from both the world perspectives, but also from Vietnam itself. So these are basically very easy steps that we always recommend you, and also you as a trainer, when you present the tools, to follow. You first need to identify the product very carefully, because the analysis and the market research will be as precise as you understand the product that you're talking about. So we need to identify in the databases which is the code related to the product. Then we need to analyze the world market. So analyze it from a helicopter view. Okay, the helicopter is really the panorama. What happens in the world? That is really what we start doing here. Then you identify the attractive markets. So you say, well, in the world, the growing markets are here. And they are very interesting because they are, sustaining a certain demand. But then you actually cross-check vis-a-vis the data you have for Vietnamese. Are you able to actually join those markets? And can you contextualize the business strategy of the SME? So these are the steps that we recommend in analyzing. Very important is to identify the product.